Yo guys, what's up? It's WorkTube 101 here, coming to you today with another video. In today's video, we're doing the finale of ranking my 400 game collection, in which we're going to find the best game in my entire collection. So right now we are in the final 8. If you guys did not see my last video, we narrowed it down to the final 8 teams. We have 4 in the north and 4 in the south. Basically just meaning 4 at the top of my collection and 4 at the bottom of my collection. So the first matchup is Apex Legends versus Far Cry 5. So the score that I gave them in round 1 with a whole bunch of different criteria, Apex Legends got a 708 and Far Cry 5 got a 778. The Xbox rating, Apex Legends has 15,430 5-star ratings on Xbox. Far Cry 5 has 2,356. So 13,000 less than Apex. Their impact on culture rating out of 100. I said that Apex Legends has had a 15 overall impact on society or culture, and Far Cry 5 had a 82 because out of different video games, Far Cry 5 had a large impact on society and culture in general because it was a cultural based game. So the value for your money, Apex Legends is a free game, so I gave it a 80 because it's completely free to play. And Far Cry 5 is a 75 overall value for your money. Because while it's not free to play, I believe that the story mode was extraordinarily valuable, the DLCs are valuable, and just the arcade mode in general. Since the online multiplayer is free to play once you buy the campaign mode, well, I guess that's how every game works, but what I'm saying is it has an extreme value compared to Apex, but Apex is free, so it has more of a value than Far Cry 5. Alrighty, guys, so to recap, Far Cry 5 won my round 1 score, so that was 1 point for Far Cry. Apex Legends won the Xbox Store rating, Far Cry won culture, and Apex won value. So for the breakpoint tie, I asked my friend Alex on Instagram, and he gave Apex Legends a 705 out of 1,000, and Far Cry 5 a 795 out of 1,000, so a 90-point difference. Shout out to my boy Alex, and Far Cry 5 is moving on to the next round. Alright guys, so for the next matchup we have a GTA 5 versus Black Ops 3. So my score for GTA 5 was 824, Black Ops 3 was 814, 10 points lower in the first round. So the Xbox score was 84,806 5 stars for GTA 5 and only 33,000 5-star ratings for Black Ops 3. For the cultural impact of GTA 5, I gave it a 93 overall, and I gave Black Ops 3 only a 54 overall. So this means that GTA 5 beat Black Ops 3 in all 3 categories, making it a very clear winner to go on to the next round. So the next game was The Wolf Among Us versus Red Dead Redemption. My first round rating for The Wolf Among Us was a 607, and my first round rating for Red Dead Redemption 2 was a 650. So, The Wolf Among Us on Xbox has 4,894 5-star ratings, while Red Dead Redemption has 10,838 5-star ratings. So, cultural wise, I gave The Wolf Among Us a culture score of 83 out of 100, and I gave Red Dead Redemption a 79 out of 100 because The Wolf Among Us is very modern. Someone gets murdered in a strip club. Red Dead Redemption was a much larger game, but it was set way in the past in the Wild Wild West. So for the value of your money, I gave The Wolf Among Us an 85 because it's only $15 and it is a really good story mode. Whereas Red Dead Redemption, I gave a 76 because it's $59.99 and it is a really good story mode. So So, Red Dead Redemption won my first round score. Red Dead Redemption won the Xbox score. But The Wolf Among Us won the cultural score and the value score. So I once again asked my friends to do the tiebreaker for me. I could only find one friend that played The Wolf Among Us, and he gave it at 800. And my friend Alex gave Red Dead Redemption a 745. So The Wolf Among Us is moving on to the next round. And lastly, we have Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege in the next match. So my score for Overwatch was 715 in the first round, compared to Rainbow Six Siege's 815 score, which was 100 points higher. So Overwatch has 18,328 5-star ratings on Xbox, while Rainbow Six Siege only has 15,479, so 3,000 less 5-star ratings. Cultural score, I gave Overwatch a 36 on culture because it was a large game, but it really has nothing to do with cultural impact. And I gave Siege a 73 overall cultural rating because it does have to do with actual special ops and actual maps of actual missions that our special operators around the globe have gone on. So I gave them a 73 for that. Value for your money, I gave Overwatch a 76 because they do have lots of sales. But I gave Rainbow Six Siege a 89 because they have larger discounts on their sales. And also Rainbow Six Siege is free with Game Pass. Overwatch is not free with Game Pass. And Rainbow Six Siege just has so many different sales, and they constantly bring the price of their game down. I believe it's not even $59.99 anymore. I think it's only like $20 to purchase it regularly. So Rainbow Six Siege moves on to the conference finals. So that means that Far Cry 5, GTA 5, The Wolf Among Us, and Rainbow Six Siege are in the final 4 games. So Far Cry 5 versus GTA 5 to move on to the finals. So for this one, I did the road that they took to get here. Far Cry 5 had to beat Far Cry 6, Far Cry New Dawn, Farming Simulator, FIFA 22, Dragon, and Apex Legends to get all the way to the conference finals from round 1, giving that a difficulty score of 682. GTA 5 had to beat The Good Life, Graveyard Shift, Greedfall, Grid, The Crew 2, and Black Ops 3 for a final difficulty score of 812, which is higher than Far Cry 5's. So my first round rating of Far Cry 5 was 778. My first round rating of GTA 5 was 824. GTA 5 once again taking the W there. I once again asked my friend Alex to rate these games. He gave Far Cry 5 a 795 and GTA 5 a 963. So I went to the Google ratings, and if you transferred the Google percentage to out of 1,000, Google would have gave Far Cry 5 a 920 and GTA 5 a 950. So GTA 5 once again taking the W. And I asked my friend Jack from TikTok what he would give it, and he gave Far Cry 5 a 650 and the GTA 5 a 700. So GTA 5 had 4,249 points total, and Far Cry 5 had 400 less at 3825. So GTA 5 is in the finals. The Wolf Among Us versus Rainbow Six Siege in the Southern Conference Finals. The Wolf Among Us had to beat When the Past Was Around, Who's Your Daddy, The Witcher 3, Wolfenstein Young Blood, Madden 22, and Red Dead Redemption 2 for a final difficulty score of 1462 because Madden 22 and Red Dead Redemption 2 were extraordinarily hard to beat in my opinion. Rainbow Six Siege, however, had to beat Ghost Recon Wildlands, Tomb Raider, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Totally Reliable, NBA 2K22, and Overwatch, giving them a final difficulty score of 1,560. So Rainbow Six Siege takes the win over The Wolf Among Us in the first round, or in the first game. My first round score for The Wolf Among Us was 607. My first round score for the Rainbow Six Siege was 815. The Xbox score for The Wolf Among Us is 940. And the Xbox score for Rainbow Six Siege is 780. So The Wolf Among Us actually does take the Xbox win, but the final score is what matters, and the final score for Rainbow Six Siege was 3,155, and the final score for The Wolf Among Us was 3,004, meaning that Rainbow Six Siege takes the W and moves on to the finals versus Grand Theft Auto 5. Alright guys, before we get into the finals, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this series. If you watched episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, it doesn't really matter. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. So we've reached our final 2 games out of 400 games. Grand Theft Auto 5 versus Rainbow Six Siege. Alrighty guys, so in round 3, I gave GTA an average score of 849.8, whereas I gave Rainbow Six Siege a final score, or an average score of 1,051. That is in round 3. If you go back to round 1, I gave GTA 5 an 824 rating, and I gave Siege an 815 rating. So round 1 was much closer than round 3, which had a 150-point difference. Round 1 only had a 10-point difference. But GTA is an open world with so many different things to do. Rainbow Six Siege is closed world, and it gets sort of repetitive after a while because it's constantly going to be the 5v5 game. I think Rainbow Six Siege looks nicer in general, is more easier on the eyes in general. It's nicer to move around, or at least walk around in Rainbow Six Siege compared to downtown LA in GTA. I think I personally have more memories maybe with Rainbow Six Siege. I've played it probably a little bit more, but overall the better game, since it's open world, since you can do everything, and the overall innovation of the game, and how many different game modes there are, how many different race modes there are, because there's racing, there's heists, there's gas station robberies, you can go to the casino, you can go to the strip club, you can go to the hospital and steal a helicopter, you can go to the airport and steal an airplane, you can own your own company, you can own your own vehicle storage unit, you can own literally everything you want to own in the game, you can do anything you want to do in the game. And for that reason, I have to give the best game of my 400 game collection to Grand Theft Auto 5.
Я дурак с пламенем в руках, обойди мой храм, не буди врага, мудак. Ключи дуракана, завтра не съест и чужой. Что ты меня, брат, ты не приглашен. Если такой как мы душой, то не продашь дом, как паркашор. Закономерно злость, без оков, но мои герои были без резаков. Они тоже интересны пути бриза в нос, но по черепу пиздит бомб. Давно потерянный под отцов, еще по коридорам забитым продавцов, или по мониторам забитых моих хостов. Треб погребить под сторону нищий снов. Белый теперь стебет над белыми за белизну. Ты лох потерянный, запрети суть, но вопрос здесь меня может быть запаникуй. Подумай дважды, если ты решил предавать голос души на фальшивый товар. Не миновать градации в гибели руку прожатый долживый баран.
Встань, сука, в хвост, не видишь, это концерт бьет. Как мы снова видим первым, только чмо смеется. Надо мной луна, блядь, я иду, чтоб найти сон. Я вижу вас, тщеславие шлюхи, с тобой мразь в роли питомца. И он выкупит то, что покойника спит, когда выпарит стыд вместе с дымом от гильзы. Я вылез в окно сбоку стада актрисы, загрыз уебана антихрист, не крыс, это пастырь, жрец, мой драйвер. Не жилец, за полный весь майбах тумана. Мой папочка, что-то не так, блядь, конечно не так, я хожу по дурану. Если кто-то захочет бифа, в удовольствие буду бить уебана, пока тут не захлебнет, станет пить. Этот самолет не спит, пидор, и мне уловить. Ведь судьба всех этих был даже танка, как это не я буду шить. С мрачнейшим оскалом, заваленный налом, на руках несет салем, к облакам над астралом, ты молишься калом. И какой вывод? А вывод в том, что тебе надо бы прощаться, нам пора уже, чтобы ты был востребован среди молодых опарышей. Ты будешь, не пайся, Кендрик, эгоцентрик, голод. Антипат и антипод рвот. Ты просто мразь, способен красть и все, смирись, но твое существование залупа. Сука, я могу быть тупым, да я могу быть любым. Я не оставлю руин от твоих бараков. Сука, так хочет оставить пустым. Но послушай мой стиль, на лице Саратов. Да ты думаешь, что бляди захотят понять, но бляди не могут, блядь, ведь они, блядь,